Let's play the boss that you've ever heard.
You say the UK version.
Yeah.
I call it the original.
Look at this. Look at this.
Nothing
no,
there. There's nothing
right.
there.
Fucking go.
What?
Look at that.
What?
Keep it quick. Just go and sit down.
Okay, so we can touch it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, wow, we just thought you were lucky.
Over the years, Ricky Gervais has delivered some unforgettable moments where he skillfully turned the tables, leaving his interviewers speechless. Many interviewers approach Ricky Gervais with confidence, only to quickly discover that his sharp wit makes for unexpectedly challenging and often awkward conversations. In contrast, Jimmy Fallon made the misstep of complimenting Ricky's appearance, which unexpectedly triggered one of Ricky's trademark rants. Witty, sharp, and impossible to forget. Then there was the interviewer who attempted to corner him with deep, philosophical questions about atheism, but instead of merely responding, Ricky skillfully turned the entire premise on its head, challenging the assumptions behind the question and leaving the host scrambling to keep up.
Talking about hell before, about this tweet about you going to hell.
Yeah.
I know that you're an atheist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. People have been debating. That's the devil waiting for you in hell, by the way. Would you want to debate the existence of God? Okay. So, Ricky Gervais, why is there something instead of nothing?
Colbert opened with a timeless philosophical question. Why is there something rather than nothing? But rather than getting caught in the web of overanalysis, Ricky responded with a single, sharp remark that completely shifted the tone and direction of the conversation.
But surely the big question is not why, but how. Well, why is irrelevant?
Okay, fine. How is there something? Because you think of God as the prime mover. How is there anything
Well,
instead of nothing?
I don't. This is a ridiculous
Is there a
premise.
prime mover?
If
Is there a demiurge that started everything?
In his interview with David Letterman, Ricky brilliantly flipped what could have been a jab about his controversial Golden Globes appearances into a clever and memorable comeback.
You have a woman, depending on what security did with her, but we have in the audience who had a series of questions about your behavior on the Golden Globes.
Okay.
The references were golf, you playing golf, and your penis. Does that ring a bell?
What? Does what ring a bell?
Yeah.
It's a good party trick. Get me a bell and I'll do my best.
It is a good party trick. There's no...
Yeah. Oh, that's just Ricky.
It's got the bell out.
No hands.
This quickly turned into a recurring pattern between the two, yet Letterman never quite seemed to catch on.
How much time you spend in London? I know you got a house here. How much time do you spend here? How much time do you spend in London?
Well, between the two, probably a bit more in London, but you know,
More in London, yeah.
I like to come here as often as I can.
Aren't the taxes bloody awful in London? In England, isn't it just crazy?
Well, unlike you, I like paying tax because it's giving something back.
Piers Morgan, debating blind people owning guns, where Ricky's sharp sarcasm stole the show.
You love American, I love American.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
start,
I
let's start
tweeted
from
you.
that position.
I said next they'll be saying blind people shouldn't drive cars, which is the first thing I thought of, because I think people have got to see the difference. They were talking about it as an equality issue. Aren't blind people allowed to defend
Well, their
themselves?
constitutional right
Yeah.
would be damaged if, and they gave an example of, if they were fully sighted and used a gun, just because they lost their sight, why should they lose the constitutional right to continue having a gun?
Yeah, well, it's a difficult one, but the short answer is because they can't see what they're shooting. That's what I'd say.
Despite Ricky's reply, Piers persisted, refusing to drop the subject until a pivotal moment finally changed the course of the conversation.
I'm a US resident, so I'm technically also covered by the Constitution. That's why I'm allowed to criticize the Second Amendment about guns, because of the First Amendment about free speech.
But tell me you're not allowed to carry a gun.
I would not be allowed to carry a gun here in New York, but I could carry one in, Dallas, or I could carry one anywhere.
Really?
I go to Walmart in Houston and buy one. They'll be on the wall. I can't buy a Kinder Egg, those little eggs with little toys in, because it may choke me, so they're a health hazard. But where the Kinder Egg would be sold in a British store, they instead have an AR-15 assault rifle.
Dear America, please let Piers buy a Kinder Egg, but don't let him buy a gun.
Then there was the interviewer who referred to The Office as the British version, but Ricky promptly corrected the misconception.
He went, yeah, sure, okay, yeah.
Jack, of course, you play, in the UK version of The Office, play the boss. What is the weirdest excuse that you've ever heard?
You say the UK version.
Yeah.
I call it the original.
Yes, well done. You're well done. Well done. It's true. Wow, that's great me.
Despite that, Ricky still acknowledged and praised the American adaptation of The Office.
Most people think Steve Carell came up with it.
That's true, but you all were the original.
Yeah, and Steve Carell did an amazing job, and I think the American version is fantastic. Yeah, no, there's 7 remakes around the world, but the American was the biggest.
But you got it started.
Yeah, a long time ago, and now I've brought him back, David Brent, which is the English Michael Scott. Yeah.
Of course, Ricky had his playful moments where the banter went both ways, and everyone was clearly enjoying the exchange. At one point, the interviewer took a chance to tease Ricky about Netflix, prompting Ricky to respond with a mock-serious comeback that perfectly matched the lighthearted tone.
It's a really big cut.
Really big cut. With all this Netflix money, of course.
Exactly. Oh, Netflix. Oh.
If I'm an $8.99 subscriber, does that mean you work for me now?
Sort of.
Yeah. Am I your boss?
You're a license player, aren't you? So you can tell me what you didn't like about stuff, and I can have it edited out just for you.
Thank you.
That's the service Netflix provides.
The playful vibe carries on as Ricky and the interviewer trade lighthearted jabs, with Ricky humorously slipping into a fatherly role and the interviewer going along with the joke. Their banter reaches a new level when Ricky throws in an outrageously detailed comment about the interviewer, adding even more fun to their back and forth.
Escalates when Ricky delivers an absurdly descriptive line about the interviewer.
Junior, you are. Oh, it's horrible. It feels worse than it looks. Imagine that. Just think of that. So look at that, right? And then imagine it feels and smells worse than it looks.
I'm married.
Imagine what it tastes like. Christ.
Yeah, thanks. I'll show my missus that one, Ricky. Yeah, thanks, mate.
Although Ricky was just engaging in lighthearted teasing, he didn't hold back with Jonathan Ross, especially since Ross had been criticizing Ricky's show from the beginning.
He has just finished a new series of extras. It's frankly, I've seen some of it, it's a shoddy piece of work, but it's redeemed only by a cameo appearance in the final episode. That's right, finally landed the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ricky Gervais!
But Ricky wasn't going to let that pass.
You've been on this show so many times, it's like you're my sidekick or something here.
Yeah.
Now, a new
show clips.
A new series of extras starts this week. Congratulations on getting a second series, essentially, but also...
Congratulations on already f***ing up. It's next week, you moron.
Without hesitation, Ricky laid bare Jonathan's manufactured TV image.
It's a more traditional sitcom. It looks a bit postmodern with the sort of meta level of, a play within a play, but it's, we think it's funnier. You're a film reviewer, you should know these words.
That was like a proper answer to a proper question then.
I know, so you'll cut it out.
As if that wasn't brutal enough, Ricky doubled down and absolutely roasted him.
I do look a bit more like Parker these days, I don't know, that's the problem. You're getting me confused.
He's kept himself in trim. Look at you. Undo the button. Go on, let it hang out. Look at this. Look at this.
Nothing
no,
there. There's nothing
right.
there. No.
Go.
What?
Look at that.
Another outrageous moment erupted when Conan O'Brien's lighthearted teasing with Ricky Gervais took an unexpectedly hilarious turn.
Yeah.
Nice new studio.
This is new. This is a new experience, yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Giant moon, big fake moon behind you.
Actually, the studio was easier to find than the channel on the TV. But I persevered.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I didn't know there were that many channels, to be honest.
I didn't until we came to this channel. I didn't realize, and I'll be honest with you, I sometimes forget where we are in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We're on, what are we on here?
I have no idea. I always get stuck on the costume jewelry, and then
you go through that, you keep going, you go to costume jewelry, eyebrow plucking channel, and
And then eventually you find...
Osama bin Laden's got a chat show just before yours.
It's very good.
And of course, Alan Carr couldn't hold back his laughter as he joked about feeling special for being invited to Ricky's house, only for Ricky to hilariously shut him down.
Around my house, I'm a very sort of private person, apart from, like, you know, workmen and postmen.
Make me feel special.
Yeah.
Got that Alan Carr, a postman round here? Refuse collector?
Yeah, well, at least they're useful.
Yeah.
No way.
During a 2017 appearance on The Tonight Show, Ricky took Jimmy Fallon's well-meaning compliment and effortlessly twisted it into a hilarious moment that left Fallon visibly second-guessing his own words.
It's back. I want to talk about it because this is going to be. I love that character.
Oh, thank you very much.
By the way.
I look great.
Yeah.
Is that sarcasm?
No, it wasn't.
You see, this is the thing with you. It's a talk show. Oh, you look great. Even though, look at me. Of course I don't look great. Look. I'm worse than last time. Last time we talked about getting old and losing my hair and distended testicles. And now it's 6 months later, so now it is worse because I'm getting fat again, which is... No, because listen, right, I know it's not terrible. You're not going to see me on one of those documentaries yet, but it's a slippery slope, right?
Ricky's rant would only make Jimmy regret the moment he ever threw the compliment.
See, this is the problem. You think, oh, you're all right, but then when you see, no, listen, you see those guys on documentaries, and they're like £700, and I'm thinking, but when they got to £300, didn't they go, oh, this is a bit much? Do you know what I mean? How it's not a surprise to become £700. You have to work at it every day. So when they were weighing themselves and they had to get the neighbour in to tell them what the scale said, wasn't that a clue? If you can't... I mean, my penis is small, but I can still see it. But when you can't... What I'm saying is... But I own it. I'm putting on weight again because I'm eating too much. I'm not one of these people that makes excuses that says, oh, it's glandular. It's never glandular, right?
Ricky Gervais transforms every interaction into a masterclass in comedic insight. A prime example is his interview with Joy Behar, where he skillfully unpacks and challenges the notion of taking offense in comedy with remarkable ease.
No, anything. It's just, no.
Well, when you go on the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
And so,
thank you.
So this is... Well,
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that... Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? Offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one.
With one deft remark, Ricky elevated a delicate subject into a profound and memorable moment, prompting Joy Behar to reconsider her original question. However, she soon shifted tactics, lightheartedly teasing him about being a germaphobe as she reached out to touch him.